So, welcome to our chat about building great ads that sell. Today, we're going to talk about how to create ads that help your business stand out. This could be within Alignable. This could be with whatever ad creation service you use, whether that's Google, whether that's any other application. This is just some general information so that you can create the best ad for your business. So the first thing that I want to talk about, the first thing and the most important thing when we're starting and looking at our ads is knowing our customers. And so I know that when you're looking at this, you're like, well, I deal with my customers all the time, Fallon. Of course I know my customers. But when we're looking at creating ads, we really need to isolate and we need to funnel down who really are your customers and how can we speak to them. So some questions that I like to ask myself and the people that I talk to when we're asking who are your customers are, what are your customers' challenges and where are they located? What's your customer's age range? What other types of advertising works for your customers? When we're looking at your customers' challenges, what's really interesting is say, okay, this is my customer's challenge. This is the specific and unique thing that I have to offer that will help alleviate my customer's challenges. And then we want to look at demographics. So once we've isolated their challenges, how we can help them, what makes us unique about it, where are they located, and what is your customer's age range? The way that we're going to talk to our customers is going to change depending on whether or not their age range is, 50 to 60, or if they're teenagers, right? So we want to make sure that the language that we're using when we're talking to these folks is specific to their age range as well. And then we also want to ask the question, and I ask this to my clients all the time, what other types of advertising works for your customers? Where do we find that they spend the most time? Is it on social media? Is it via email? Is it word of mouth? Are they the kind of customer that buys a newspaper? All of these things are really important to isolate when we're looking at knowing our customer. Then when we're able to narrow this down, and what I'd recommend is really sitting down with a Word document, a Google Doc, whatever, and writing down these specific bullets for yourself, just as a reminder. And once we have all of this information, then we want to move on to crafting our messaging. To craft our message, again, we're going to offer. So now we've isolated their problem. Where's our solution? And especially what's unique to your business? What makes you stand out? How are you the best person to solve their problem? The second thing that we want to look at is writing for your customers, using keywords, using a language that they can understand, using vernacular that makes sense to them. And that goes back to age range, but also location. Is your reach targeted or more general? So for your business, is your business something that could be advertised across the nation, or is it something that really is local to your community? And then when we look at the nitty-gritty of the actual ad, we look at using a compelling image and headline. So we want to make sure that our image that we use for our ad is relevant to the ad itself. I think a lot of times we get trapped in wanting the image to be our logo, or the image to be a really pretty piece of clip art or something that we were able to find online. But I would challenge you to try to find an image, whether it is your business itself, whether it's you performing the task, where you're able to find something that really is relevant to what you're advertising. Same thing with your headline. We want to make sure that our headline is compelling, that it's quick. We really only get 30 seconds to wow a potential customer. People's attention spans, as I'm sure you all know, are getting shorter and shorter every day. So with your image and your headline, you really want to tell a story, a very quick snapshot that attracts people. And so with that, we want to make sure that our headline is short. Generally, we like to keep it at 5 words max. Sometimes that can be difficult, so that's not a hard, steady rule, but we want to make sure that it's not a small paragraph. And I think the most important thing as well with your advertising message is having a call to action. So what are your potential customers going to do to reach you? What is the point of this message that you're sending them? We want to have a call to action so that they know what they need to be doing and where they need to go to do it. So I thought it would be fun, now that we've known our customer and we know how to craft our message, I thought it would be fun to look at a few before and afters and to have an interactive activity. So I would love if everybody would chime in. I think Chuck in the chat, correct?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is here at Alignable, I work specifically with small business owners who are, I offer one-on-one advertising coaching, essentially. And so these are some of the business owners that I've worked with. We're going to look at what their ads looked like before. I would love to know what we think we can change, what we think we can improve on, and then we'll look at an after. And I, again, would love to know what you think is done better, what you think is working a little bit better. Okay, let's dive in. Okay, this is our first example. This is my good friend here, and he is very passionate about the employee tax credit. So this is his headline and his photo. Take a look here really quickly, and then I'm going to go to the next slide, which was his ad copy. And again, please let me know in the chat box what you think can be improved. What are your first thoughts? Anything that pops out to you? Okay, improve the photo, many words, image, photo and headline, words, headline's not understandable, too wordy. Okay, I think we're getting the general vibe here. All right. Can't really understand what he's saying. Abbreviations can be confusing. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think those are all really great points. And again, it goes back to knowing your customer. If someone here watching this panel at Alignable doesn't understand what he's saying, how can you understand the general population too? I think we as business owners get locked into sometimes abbreviations, languages, and things that we think make sense, but we have to think broader and we have to think in place of our customer base. So this was his ad copy. This was the body. And again, go ahead and just let me know in the comments. It's probably going to be similar to what you said before, and we obviously don't need to read this whole thing, but I think, there we go. Yep, too wordy, too long. A book and an ad, yep, too long. Verbal vomiting, yes. A lot of information. Yeah, lost me already. Okay, exactly. Okay, perfect. Great point. Yeah, where was this ad placed in email? Absolutely. So we've understood the concept here. Our friend here is just a little bit long-winded. So when I talked to him about creating a compelling image. So this is what we landed on. This was his image that he created, and this was his headline. Now, what are our first thoughts when we're looking at this image versus the one that we saw before? Again, we're looking at the headline that looks a little bit cleaner and has the call to action. Are you qualified for the employee retention tax credit? When someone looks at that, it says, okay, am I qualified? Can I get that tax credit? And here's the after of the body of text. This is the ad copy that we landed on. Again, this is a little bit wordy for an ad, but I think that my client here, Tony, he had a lot to say. So this is as much as we could pare down. And I think that we did a pretty good job at making sure that everything was short, to the point, and making sure that we have that call to action there. Exactly. Easy to understand. Maybe the process will be easier than you thought. It looks a little bit better. All right, let's move on to our next ones. Thank you guys so much. Okay. This is our next one. Our headline says service call, $49. This is our photo, and then underneath is his ad copy. Let me know what you guys think. Right. Yeah, the message is a little bit unclear. It's a little bit short. The correct spelling is very important. There's no call to action. Yep. The headline should be about its service itself. Yeah, it's a little It's a little bland, I would say. It's not the worst thing we've ever seen, but it's not the best either. It could always be improved. Exactly. We don't really know what we're getting for $49. Thank you so much for bringing that up. That's a really, really good point. So when we move forward here, here's the after. So this is a company called Air Dreamy, and he was running a summer special. So I brought up the image. I talked about his headline. Now, what do we think about how this one turned out? Yeah, it's a little more eye-catching. What I really enjoyed about this one was that it looks a little bit more professional. We have our headline, which it's not exactly, it doesn't say what he's offering, but it does show you, oh my gosh, it's getting a little bit hot. Can I handle the heat? And with his image, we're already showing we've got a summer special, and clearly it's with HVAC or an air conditioning. And within the body of his text, then we've shown what the $49 was relevant for, right? That normally his service is $89, now it's $49. It does, it speaks to the reader's concern. Now you know exactly what's going on. Perfect. Any more thoughts before I move on? Love the thumbs up. Thank you. All right. This is going to be our last one. Thank you guys so much for joining in on this. I'm really happy about it. All right. This is our last one. This is our image, and this is our ad copy. Tell me what you think, y'all. Yeah, what exactly is he saying? That's a really good question. Looks like a photo and a death announcement. People don't want to be sold. Yeah. Exactly. What type? Service oriented. Yep, absolutely. Needs a background, needs a pop of color, bland, just like insurance. Insurance can be a little bit bland. A little in your face, yeah. And again, exactly, what do I need to do? The call to action just isn't there. You look at this and you're wondering, what is being advertised to me? And exactly, he isn't helping them to see the real picture of the protection. With something like life insurance, there's a little bit of tugging on the heartstrings that needs to happen because it is very important. Could be boring, but it's something that everybody needs. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the after. And this is what we came up with here. Let me know what you think in the comments. Right. Much better. I loved the idea of tugging on the heartstrings a little bit and making it clear that life insurance is for what you're leaving behind for your loved ones. Now, this client's his saying, his logo is that life insurance is on you, but not for you. So I made sure that it was added in the second ad as well as the first. And that is correct. The contact information on this ad is missing, and I will explain why. This ad was featured publicly on his Alignable profile. And so because of that, right next to the ad and right next to where it was his contact information. So we didn't see it as relevant to add, but you're absolutely correct. We want to make sure that your customers know how to reach you always. Much more relevant, much more direct and to the point. Perfect. All right. Thank you guys so much for playing how to craft that ad. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about where to post your message. This is relevant to Alignable, and this is my specialty. So posting your message on Alignable, what you want to do is when you go to your business profile, you'll see a tab and it says promotions and services. This is the place right here that will show publicly on your Alignable profile what your promotions are, what your services are. This is a lot like crafting an ad. I think we get sucked into and stuck in the idea that this is just filling out my profile. I'll just throw some information here. Well, what's nice about your promos and services is that when you share a promo or a service, This is what the setup looks like. But down below, you'll see at the bottom, it says, who should see this? You can share it with your network. So that's whoever you're connected to. You'll share it with the community that you're a part of. Right here, it's Offers Florida. Or if you're a premium member, you can reach nearby communities. And if you want to amplify your visibility, on Alignable, we have newsletter sponsorships. You can sponsor a newsletter and put your ad as the exclusive sponsor of that community. So if I'm from Wheat Ridge, Colorado, or I want to sponsor in Wheat Ridge, I purchase Wheat Ridge as my sponsorship community, and you are the exclusive ad runner. And that's going to be at the sponsorships tab again in your business profile. And you'll see here that you'll see your overall performance. When you have a sponsorship that you run in the local Spark community newsletter, we do show you your analytics. So with Air Dreamy, who we saw previously, one of the ads that we updated, you'll see that his analytics are here. And so far he's had 11,000 people click on his profile. And this is what the community newsletter. So it becomes what it looks like, excuse me. So this is the centerpiece of our newsletter. You'll see the local Spark, you'll see your location, and right down below, you'll see a service or your promotion, and your business can be featured right there. And this features on the homepage, in the community page, and also in the newsletter that is sent out to every member of that community. All right, so just to do a quick recap. How to improve your ads and the best places on Alignable to promote your ads. And this is just a general overview, but hopefully this information was helpful for you. I would love to sit and chat with all of you and answer some questions that you have. But before we do that, make sure that if you want to have more conversations like this with other members or with myself, to join the Marketing for Small Businesses group.